Good morning, fish keepers. Cam here from the fishroom.co.nz. It's Friday. We've done it. It's coffee time. It's a good coffee. I'm not going to lie. This is coffee number 4 for today. Oh, it's on my screen. It's on me. What's going on? Ooh, yeah. This is coffee number 4 for me today. We did a bit of a catch-up episode on 3 Idiots podcast this morning. So I've been up since 5 o'clock. Definitely needing that caffeine. So we're rocking and rolling. All right. Let's push some buttons. Good morning, John. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm living the caffeinated dream. That's a good time. Wait for the 2 o'clock crash.
I'll bet.
That's all right. I'll just have another coffee. G'day, Zen. Audio, video, good. Does that mean you could hear the conversation we were having prior to going live? If so, that concerns me a little bit. We'll see how we go with that. Cool. All right, so got some things on my agenda. A few bits and pieces to talk about. First of all, the podcast, the Aquarium Frenzy podcast, has been released late last night. The episode we released is the one we had Grant Eder from the Garden of Eder on, talking all things shrimp, and that's we talk about aquatic plants and that sort of stuff. So, yeah. So that's a good time. So that's been released yesterday. You can get that on Spotify if you want to listen to that. Obviously, you can then watch the reruns as well if you choose to do that too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool. Cross that one off. Also, speaking of podcasts, the 3 Idiots Talk Aquariums podcast is going to be out again on Sunday. So that's a good time. I can't remember what this week's episode was all about. We only recorded it on Wednesday, and I still can't remember what it was. So, yeah. I do remember walking out of it thinking that was really enjoyable and I liked it. So I hope everybody else does as well. Yeah. Right, next on my list of things is we have our Aquarium Awards that's been running for the week so far. If you aren't aware of the Aquarium Awards, John, do you want to talk about that?
Yes, Aquarium Awards launched on Monday, and it is where you get the chance to vote, obviously, for your favourite plant product, fish care product, mechanical product like a filter,
Filtration,
or ceramic cave, that sort of thing. Best food, various different categories like that. It's been live since Monday, like I said. There's links all over their Facebook page. And what date did we decide that voting was closing on?
It was going to be 2 weeks from when we started it, so not this Monday coming up, the Monday after that.
Yeah, okay. And at that point, we will be announcing who has won the $300 prize pack, haven't we?
Correct. So I've had some decent entries come in. Unfortunately, the prize is only available to New Zealand voters, consumers, watchers, whatever way you want to put it. But even if you're not in New Zealand, you are well and truly eligible to be involved in what we're doing. Jump on our Facebook page, follow the link, and away you go. So it's nice and easy.
For the whole fish room family, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wherever you may be.
Yeah. So I've been checking in on it, logging in about once a day, just sort of checking how the votes are going. There's a couple of very, very prominent clear-cut winners in some of the categories. There's some very, very close categories, and there's some categories that one day when I log in, there's a leader, and then the next day when I log in, there's another leader, and vice versa. It's just flipping and flopping. So it's really quite cool from the back end to watch what's going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, yeah,
it's a good bit of
have
fun.
you voted yet? If not, get on it.
I thought you were asking if I'd voted. No, I haven't voted. But, yeah, if you haven't voted, definitely get into it.
There'll be another post going out today, just as a reminder with a fresh link and things like that as well. So if anybody can't find the link, just look out for the post in the next couple of hours.
And like Rochelle just said, that she shared the voting far and wide. So it'd be cool if you did that as well. The more people that vote, obviously, the more votes that come in. Well, duh. the more of an idea of it goes. And again, fingers crossed, this takes off, and next year we can do it and get it bigger and better next year, and following and so forth, and
Absolutely.
as we just continue. So that's the goal, that's the dream. Hopefully it becomes something pretty big every year, and every year we do this, because it'd be cool to give this sort of thing back. Yeah. So that's where that's at.
Awesome.
You may or may not have noticed that on Monday we have a special edition of the Finatics Friday coffee date coming up. Obviously, it's not going to be on Friday; it's going to be on Monday.
Yeah.
We've got a very special guest by the name of Tom Barr coming on to talk with us. I think the word guru is thrown around way too often these days, but he is an absolute guru when it comes to growing plants of both aquatic and non-aquatic nature, and I'm really looking forward to speaking to him. It's going to be fantastic. So unfortunately, our normal time slot didn't work for him, so we've made a few adjustments, and we're going to make it rock on Monday. So hope you can all join us for that. It'll be the same time, but just a couple of days time. So so if you've got any interest in growing aquatic plants, it'll be well and truly worth watching. I believe
Our
that
bonsai trees.
What's that, sorry?
Our bonsai trees as well.
Bonsai trees, yeah. I believe he's got a presentation that we're going to upload onto this sometime soon. I know our previous attempts at using presentations and PowerPoints haven't been that successful, but I've actually done a little bit of research, and I think I might have worked out how to do it. So hopefully it goes fairly well, but we won't know until Monday. So
I'm sure it'll go absolutely swimmingly.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So like I said, he's an absolute guru when it comes to growing plants and things like that. So
whereabout is Tom based?
I believe he's in America.
Yeah. Any idea whereabout? California?
I want to say California, but I don't know for sure. It's just something in my mind saying it's in California. So
we'll find out.
We certainly will.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. It's definitely a highlight on the calendar when he said yes that we made it work. And like I said, he said he couldn't do our normal time, but that's cool. We've just made it work because it was too good of an opportunity to pass up. So I'm looking forward to that like nobody's business.
And that's already scheduled on YouTube.
Yes, correct.
So if you go to the YouTube channel, you find it straight away, so you can click a reminder so that it keeps track, and it'll alert you maybe an hour before we go live.
Yeah. So I think it's also come up on the Facebook page as well. So
it's
all ready to rock. So that's a good time. Released some new fish from our Out the Back in-store quarantine yesterday. Some of the highlights were some very nice lemon tetras and some lemon swordtails, everyone's favorite cootie loaches, and some Siamese algae eaters, and some very nice sized black neon tetras, which are all but bulletproof. So that's a cool fish as well. Also released a lot of stir-by corridoras and some honey gouramis. You'll notice if you jump on the website, thefishroom.co.nz, and jump into the live fish section, that the stir-bys and the honey gouramis are a lot cheaper than what they normally would be sold for. That's because they're a lot smaller than normal. They're kind of around the 2 centimeter mark, so the price is reflecting that. The profiles also say that they're smaller and around the sort of 1, 2, 3 centimeter mark. So they are definitely smaller. So if you're looking for a fish to grow out, they're a good option. When I say they're cheaper, they're about 50% cheaper. So you're getting I think I'm charging $10 for a stir-by off the top of my head. So that's a fairly good price, but the price is relating to the size that they are. So if you're in the market for some small honey gouramis to grow out, maybe looking to try and get a pair or something on those lines, or a nice big group of stir-bys, and you don't want to pay too much for them, it's probably worthwhile having a wee look at them at the moment. And as with everything, as we've updated our DOA policies and all that kind of stuff, that all applies as well. So if you weren't aware, we do just your standard DOA. If it arrives, if your fish arrive dead, we'll either credit you or refund you for them. And we've also begun extending that to a 2-week guarantee. So regardless of how you purchase your fish from us, whether it is in the shop or whether we send it to you, if anything happens to them within the first 2 weeks, we'll also credit you for them as well. So it's just giving a bit of extra peace of mind for everyone who's looking at buying fish. A few weeks back, we did a bit of a survey, and a couple of the things that people said that concerned them about buying fish online was potential risk of buying fish, them dying, and then not getting their money back, and then the cost of the freight itself. So again, we've done free shipping up to $200 when it comes to live fish, as well as the extended the DOA policy for another 2 weeks. So hopefully that helps a few people in their fish keeping journey and stuff like that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few comments in the chat going on. G'day Thomas, how you doing, buddy? Rochelle's on the hunt for anyone who has the imported bluegrass guppies or blue non-sword-tailed guppies. And Helen says she wants 6 more stir-buys for the big tank. It's a good time to buy them at the moment. They're a very, very good price. So stir-buys are super cool fish. Probably one of the first corridors that I was introduced to from a hobbyist down here. So yeah.
They're like one of the if you like corridors, you've got to try stir-by. You've not
they're
had corridors unless you've had them, I think, anyway. They're just like
they're a classic. Like they're up with the bronze and the peppered. They're a classic, but they're kind of next level, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Especially if you get nice healthy ones, and that the dots on them are just
There's bright orange fins on them as well. They're cool. Yeah. And while we're talking about fish, we had red phantoms and ember tetras that came in at the same time as all the other fish. Unfortunately, I've had to hold them back. I've quarantined them in the same tank, which I hate doing, but I had no option because I didn't have any other room at the time. But I was losing the red phantoms one each morning. Basically, I'd turn up and there was a dead one. And I couldn't, for the life of me, work out why they were dying overnight. Yesterday, I came in and there was another dead one. Wasn't quite dead. It was still just alive. But I managed to put a light over it because it was still alive. It hadn't gone white because it had died overnight and been in the tank for a few hours. And it looked like there was a bit of a bacteria infection going on it. So at least I now have a reason why they look like they're being knocked off, so I can potentially treat them. But because the embers are in the same tank, I didn't want to take out the embers and make them available in case they're going to pass something on. So the ember tetras and the red phantoms are going to just be held back a little bit longer, probably for a few more weeks until we can get that under control. So I'm sorry if you're waiting for them, but they're just going to be a little bit longer until I'm happy with them. So yeah, that's where that's at.
It'll be worth the wait.
Yeah, embers are beautiful. I really like ember tetras. So,
especially in a heavily planted tank.
Yeah.
The colour just pops. They're really good.
Yeah. One of the suppliers that does the tissue culture plants. We've got some tissue culture plants in this week. Also sent me along a couple of samples of some aqua soil. So I'm considering actually setting up a small aquascape tank, which is a little bit different for me. Maybe a 25 litre or a 30 litre with the aqua soil and grow some of these new fancy crypts. And if I do go something down that side, I'd probably go with ember tetras and ottos or something similar, smaller fish that go into a smaller tank. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Rochelle's just put a question in the chat, and it reminded me of a YouTube video that you did a little while back. This one.
People see the fish obviously going too far to do anything. How do you deal with it? It totally depends on what it is. That I'm assuming you're talking about knocking them off now, as opposed to continuing to try to treat them. I got a little confused on that. So it totally depends on the fish. My preferred method of euthanizing fish is basically blunt force trauma. Smaller fish, a really quick flick to the head. Slightly bigger fish, chucking them as hard as I can against the concrete on the ground. It sounds pretty gruesome, but it's ridiculously fast. So that's my preferred method. I know people use clove oil, which at the time of doing the video I did, I hadn't done anything with clove oil. I had a couple of fish maybe a month or so ago that I couldn't get them back. I tried to with it. I'll give this clove oil thing a go, and it did work. I really didn't like it that much.
Have you ever tried alcohol?
I have not. I've drunk alcohol a lot, but I haven't tried euthanizing fish with alcohol.
I have heard that, like a whiskey or something like that can be quite helpful. But I can't waste the whiskey. Sorry.
I might give that a go next time. I gave up drinking at the start of the year, so I've got, I don't know, about 40 different bottles of spirit sitting in the cupboard that aren't going to get used otherwise, so might as well start killing some fish. So my preferred method is blunt force. If you are feeling handy with a knife, a lot of people spike bigger fish in the back of the neck. I'm not handy with a knife. I've never been, I don't go fishing like that. So that's a no-go for me. And then obviously there's the clove oil, which I didn't particularly enjoy. I know a lot of people put them in the freezer, which I don't think is humane either. I think it's a fairly average way of doing it and a lot longer than it takes. It just seems that blunt force trauma is a faster method. A more gruesome method, but it is a far faster method. So that's what I try and employ and try and go with.
That's what we used to do when fishing. We'd take what we used was the handle of an old golf club.
Yeah.
And we used that for hitting a fish when we caught them.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. No one likes doing it, but yeah. For me, it's all about getting rid of the suffering as fast as possible, and that just seems to be the option. Hello, Cameron. Have you calmed down from this morning, buddy? So because we kind of mentioned tissue culture plants, we got some new tissue culture plants in. I'm very excited about that, including some ADA, which is new to the country, which I'm very excited about. So I've got some of these plants here in my hands because they're fancy. That's from the Pink Panther. There is a phenomenally large amount of plants in these pots. And when I first opened them, I thought they looked quite empty because they were quite empty around the edges. But when I've really looked into them, there's a heck of a lot of plants in these pots, which is really cool.
Yeah, a lot of the time when you get these tissue cultures, if you can get them in a bowl of water to dissolve the jelly and things, it breaks them up that way. They separate a lot easier as well, and you don't damage the roots when you're doing it.
I haven't tried that, but I'll have a wee look. Yeah, 22 plants from the Pink Panther. I'm not surprised. They're a good size. They're a really good size. And we got the Nana Petite Snowflake, which I think is also very cool. Yeah, they've all only got.
Yeah, I love that.
I say only, but they've all got three plants in them. But like looking at this one, you could cut these 3 into probably 5 if you wanted to spread them around a little bit. So that's
cut through the ridiculously
cool. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with them. And another one that I'm actually really excited about. This is a plant that we do have in New Zealand. We've had it for a long time. But it's a little bit hard to get hold of, and that is the Nana Petite.
Yeah. Almost really like a Bucephalandra.
Yeah, it's a good way of describing it.
Yeah.
So I can't actually remember the price that we've got on these, but in the hobbyist market from one to another, small pieces of the Nana Petite were going insanely expensive, because they were so hard to get hold of. They were ridiculously expensive. And so, if you were to put what's in this pot here compared to what the hobbyist market they were selling for, this would be like $100 or so, maybe even more, 120, 130 for what they were hobbyist market several months ago. But now that they're here, hopefully that brings the price of these. They grow ridiculously slow, and I totally understand that. But yeah, now this is here, and these pots are incredibly full. Hopefully that becomes they stop being scarce and they get sent around everywhere, and then everyone has the Nana Petite because, yeah. So I'm happy with that. I think the Nana Petite is easily the best buy of what came in cup size, price wise, rarity, and all that kind of stuff that's in the country. So pretty excited about that.
So, yeah. So you should.
Yeah. I saw something. Still windscreen wipers. Where was he? What did he say? His mini coin. Are you fertilizing your mini coin? That would be my first question. Have you got a light over it? It's my next question. By dying, do you mean it's getting yellow along the rhizome, or it's just not growing, or what's going on there? Please give me some more information, Cameron, sir.
And nubias are quite prone to algae on their leaves because they're slow growers.
Yeah.
So it's quite common to have to clean the leaves physically. And a lot of people take that as it's dying because it's got algae on it, but it's just it's an algae magnet a lot of the time. So
So with these Anubias, I was considering doing a epiphyte only aquascape. What we were talking about before, I was considering doing an aquascape. So
Dry start method.
I don't know yet. Haven't quite got that far in my thinking. When I say epiphyte only, I'd probably put some crypts in there because I also like crypts, but would probably make it mainly full of epiphytes. I've got various different Anubias hanging around the shop in the tanks that I've collected over the years as well. So it'll be quite cool to have them all kind of put together and growing in different ways, different shapes, and sort of enjoying them that way. So, yeah, we'll see how we go with that. I might go completely the opposite and not do it whatsoever. Or I also like the idea of doing a full-on crypt jungle,
Nice.
just with different layers of crypts and different pottings of them in one scenario or another. So if I do end up doing any sort of an aquascape sort of thing or planted tank, it's most likely just going to be Anubias and crypts or maybe some Java ferns or something like that. So
and a nice deep substrate. Crypts go crazy with the roots. I've noticed crypts will just
cool. Right. Thank you for bringing that up. That was my understanding as well, that Pink Panther and Pink Flamingo are basically the same plant, but just different branding. I haven't dug too deep into it, but I have had a couple people ask me since we've had the Pink Panther in, and I naturally assume that they are essentially the same plant, but they're just from two different companies. So, yeah. That was my theory, so I'm glad there was a little bit of
that. That's definitely,
confirmation in there. Yeah. Fingers crossed my Sparky turns up today. Just in a bit of self-sourcing. Ran out of plugs to do the last rack of 6 tanks. So all the filters are in there, all bubbling away and running through cycles and all that kind of good stuff with all the muck and the gunk. But I haven't been able to get the temperature of the tanks warm enough because I've run out of plugs. So fingers crossed he comes in today. Sent me a message asking me if I was going to be here today. So hopefully I see him soon once we're done with this and get some more plugs in, and then we can start rocking and moving the last sort of fish into spawning tanks and all that kind of good stuff. So fingers crossed there's a little bit more movement out the back over the next few days. So yeah, need to do a week clean on all of the quarantine tanks and then begin bringing some new fish in. And speaking of plugs and heating, the new tanks that we are going to do the cycling tests on, I've decided to go and buy brand new 100 watt Aqua 1 heaters. So next order I do, which I think will be next week, I'll get enough of them to cover that. So they're all brand new. It's all exactly identical, all that kind of stuff. And we'll be able to see how accurate the heaters are, whether they all hold to the same temperature. But also we'll just know that's something else ticked off on the equation for this we test, and then we can get kick-started on that as well. So that'll be fun. I don't have too much left on my thing. If you haven't followed us on TikTok, you should do it because it's fun. TikTok is a good time. So I know John follows us on TikTok.
Yeah. Because I like videos.
Basically give you a behind-the-scene look of what I do each and every day. Some of my thought patterns behind stuff, and it's a lot of me drinking coffee, so that's also fun. But yeah,
they are quite funny though.
If you are on TikTok, please follow us. Did you miss my comment? I must have missed it. Where are we looking? Where are we looking? I have missed it. When did you ask that comment, Helen? Can you see the comment, John?
Here we go.
Oh, there we go. Cool. Here's one for your cycling tanks. We're at 383 litres planted and filled on Sunday. First water transmission on Tuesday. Tested the water this morning. Traces of ammonia 25. Nitrites between 40 and 80. No added, no ammonia, no DEF points. What is your substrate is my first question. Because if you've used aqua soil, that'll be leaching bits and pieces into the water because that's what it does. So that would be my first question. Got traces of ammonia and nitrates. Brand new. brand new filtration, brand new everything else. Half aquascoil, half quartz. Yeah, I would suspect that the aquasoil will be leaching something, because I know that's what it does after listening to Everything Aquarium podcast, I think it was. Got a far more deeper understanding on how aquasoil works and how it works with promotion of plant growth and stuff like that, which included the way that it sort of releases its nutrients, including ammonia to it. So obviously it releases the ammonia, the plants begin to take it on at the same time, but it will be getting put into the water as well. So I would have thought that the aquasoil might be doing some of that. Why the high nitrates, I'm not entirely sure. That seems pretty high for that. I could imagine traces of ammonia and traces of nitrite at a few day point, but traces of nitrate, I'm not entirely sure. And secondhand filter bit empty. Empty and clean, or was there still remnants of bits and pieces? Because that could still be contributing to some of the breakdown. But again, only after 3 days, I thought that would be a little bit early as well. So that would be my current thought patterns on that, empty and clean. Yeah. Okay, so I would just, my first thought would be that the aquasoil itself is releasing something which is pushing out some of the ammonia and the nitrite, because that's what it does. The high levels of nitrate, I'm not entirely sure, assuming that you have checked your water supply and there's no nitrates in that, and not counting like liquid fertilizer or something like that, putting some nitrates into the water. It'd be my first things to think about as well. We had another question here about aquasoil.
Yeah, it's Rochelle. I'll pop it up.
Yeah, and Zen, TikTok is my favourite waste of time. Yes, TikTok is also now my favourite waste of time, unfortunately. But is there such a thing as wasting time, or is it just spending time the way you want to spend it?
Just admit it, you love making TikTok videos, Cam. And you can tell you're like a teenage schoolgirl with the excitement that comes on the screen. You just live for the TikTok.
Do you know what one of my favourite things to do is? Well, you don't know, but I'm going to tell you. Is every time I get, no, not so much skipping. Every time I get some sort of a milestone of someone following us or likes or whatever, I like saying to my teenage girls, look at how many followers I've got on TikTok and look at how many likes I've got. Because
I do that as well.
That's their life, and I feel like I'm being a total dad and ruining their party, and I'm loving it.
Yep. High five to that.
Definitely a bit of dad joke motivation going on there for that as well.
Oh yeah. You've got a bigger TikTok account than your daughter's.
I hope so. Let's do this. What brand aquasoil Tropica can? I think most aquasoils will leach ammonia and stuff when it first goes in until it settles. I think that is part and parcel of why it makes it's so good for growing aquatic plants, because it's already kick-started halfway through the battle of getting all the nutrients into the water for the plants. So I think that's why it becomes that really good viable solution or viable product if you're wanting to grow plants, because it's already got all the goodies in it. If that makes sense. Have I missed anything? Because I've been on a different screen, so to speak. For a week, fish giving is never a waste of time. We brought one up. I've got a hard one. I'm currently boiling some
wood.
Some wood. Yep, that is releasing tannins. Can I use the water? It was boiled in as black water. I have done that before. I have no issues doing that myself.
Yeah, it's the same water that would be produced.
Yeah. So if you've collected the wood, there's a school of thought, like if you've collected the botanicals yourself and you're doing your boil off, just to tip it out, get rid of it, because the reason you're boiling it is to get rid of all the nasties in it, and so then you'll be tipping nasty stuff into the water, so to speak. But if it's like a piece you've got store-bought, you've already boiled it off, tipped all the nasty stuff out, and then you've reboiled it and you're still getting tannin water, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with using that water. So like as an example, I've got some botanicals boiling away. If they're not boiling, they're just sitting in a bucket out the back as well. I've tipped that out a couple of times and it's still leaching botanicals, and I'm quite happy to use that tea in my tanks as well. So they're still leaching a lot of tannins, but I'm quite happy to use that as an additive to be going into my display tank as well. So that's it. Most people would tip out the first lot, and then from there onwards you're pretty good to go after that. So yeah. If I had to choose between a blue dolphin or a Venustus colony for a display, what would you choose? It's a real tough one because I like both of them quite a lot. I think I would go with the blue dolphins. I think their mature adult size and shape beats the Venustus when they get that real big, ugly, gangly look on them. Also because both males and females have colour, whereas the females of the Venustus aren't quite as nice looking. I think also that the blue dolphins would occupy more of the aquarium space to view than what the Venustus would. In my experience, dolphins are more sort of mid-top. Venustus are more top with a little bit of mid, if that makes sense. So that's probably where I'd go if I had the option between the two and my life depended on it. I'd probably go with the dolphins. So yeah, that's where that's at. So I think it might have been Amazonius magazine that did a feature on blue dolphins years and years and years ago, and there's this picture that stuck in my head on the front cover of this big blue dolphin with his big buffy, what looks like chemically enhanced pink lips, and that's always been ingrained in my head for like the first moment that I saw it. I thought it was both creepy and both cool at the same time. So yeah, so that is where I would go. And if I said boiling wouldn't kill the nasties, I was meaning to say boiling would probably kill all the nasty stuff, because that's what boiling does for the best part. Might be my nearly 4 coffees down jabbering. So when I was doing the rounds the other day, I noticed one of my Bolivian rams was looking mighty aggressive. I thought that's kind of weird. He seemed to be shooting everything off from one corner, and then I noticed he looked like he was a bit of lip blocking, but a bit of action on what I think was one of the females as well. So kept my eyes on them for a little bit of time. Didn't see any eggs, but it looked like it was defending a nest or something around that cave. It's been there for a couple of days now. I still haven't seen anything wiggling. I did think that I had some fry, but I just recently put brine shrimp in the tank, so the wiggling was brine shrimp, which really disappointed me because I got that flush of, I've got fry, and then, oh, wait a minute, it's just brine shrimp. So that was a bit disappointing, but yeah, so they're both still in the same corner. They haven't moved. They're still defending it, or they have let one of the L140s into the cave. So I don't think they have spawned in that cave, so to speak. It might be one of the sort of nooks and crannies just around the cave, but I'm yet to see fry. But I've got my fingers very tightly crossed that over the next couple of days I'll see some fry from the Bolivian rams, which is fairly exciting. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Can't beat a Bolivian ram.
Yeah, I was talking to Cam and Ryan again this morning about them. Like when you look at the rams, the Bolivians are definitely, in my opinion, the not as nice looking ones compared to the German rams, but they are basically bulletproof.
Yeah.
Whereas the German rams, you can just look at them and they go, no, I don't like you and I'm going to get sick. But they are 10 times prettier, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Especially when you get that yellow coming through them.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
Just gold. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So if they could somehow combine and have the hardiness of the Bolivian ram and the prettiness of the German ram, that would be the perfect ultimate ram.
Totally.
So, yeah. I think Germans really need to give them what they want, not what you want, if that makes sense. Give them what they want and they go really, really well.
So, yeah, I would agree with that. I've had a setup in that tank actually a while back that was based on the German rams. And I've never seen them look so good because the
Mm.
tank was set up specifically for them.
Mm.
Put them in a community tank and they dull the colours right down, and you don't get anywhere near as much excitement from them. But
Yeah.
put them in a species tank and you're laughing.
Yeah, when I first started with CO2, I was playing with a DIY CO2.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I had the tank on the ground. I can't remember why. It might have been underneath of a stand. I was just trying to cram as many tanks as I could. It wasn't a very tall tank. It was about 250 high, so it was quite short, but it was quite wide and sort of square, if that makes sense. And it was planted with the DIY CO2. And the plants were flourishing. The water was nice and warm and ridiculously clean. And I was feeding them white worms pretty much every other day. And the colours that came through them were just phenomenal. So just the combination of everything through that made some of the most stunning looking rams. It was
I could imagine.
Insanely how pretty they were. I got a couple of really good photos of them, but because I'm pretty lackluster when it comes to cleaning the outside of my glass, they all have water spots on them, which is unfortunate because they looked red hot. So yeah, I actually think one of the photos might be on the website under one of the RAM articles from memory. I can't quite remember. But yeah, they looked really, really good. So yeah,
I think I've got some of mine actually on one of the RAM articles. A picture
Probably,
of the ones I was just talking about.
Yeah. Rochelle is hoping to see some minnow fry. Because with my fishes having babies, they've done it without my involvement. Yeah, they look like they were getting close. They definitely looked like one of the males was trying to hook a female where he wanted her to be. So just be patient, keep your eyes open for eggs, and see how you go. German aquariums would spar male to female before they laid eggs, like they were picking a suitable mate. I believe it's the same. I'm assuming similar. I could never get golds or black rams to breed. First time round for trying Bolivian rams to breed for me. But I would assume that would be the case. Dominant male showing off its stuff and then trying to make sure the female was ready to rock and roll as part of the courting process. So at least that's the way that I've taken what was going on out the back. It was the dominant male. Look, I'm me. I'm ready to go, and then trying to get the female ready to rock and roll at the same time doing their dance. So yeah. My hand.
Yeah, tried having an airline to suck them into a certain spot. That's usually a good option if you want to get hands-on with it anyway. Kyle's saying he's got a Zis hatchery that is positioned above a certain plant, so when the eggs get released, it sucks them straight into the hatchery. It's quite a clever way of doing it.
Yeah. I've as soon as I've seen it wiggling, I've got a tank sitting ready to go there. Thankfully, right at the front of the tank, which is going to make life really easy, just to get a siphon in there and just hook them all out. Well, that's the plan at least. So we'll see how we go. So, yeah. Last thing on my list is getting ready to record the Sarah insect food review. I've been talking about this for a little while. Good things take time. Is there anything in particular you want me to see, want me to go over when I'm reviewing this food or any foods in particular? Assuming things like ingredients and nutritional breakdown and all that type of stuff is going to be, and there is anything specific that people want to see go into it or not. So I've begun the prep work for that, writing all my notes and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have a review of the Sarah insect, which I'm hoping to be not too biased because I absolutely love it. I think it's a phenomenal off-the-shelf dry food. So if there is anything that people want me to include in the reviews that I do, please fire away. Let me know. Feed it to some fish, probably. Yeah, I could probably feed it to some fish, I guess. Maybe I'll put it on a teaspoon and I might feed it to myself, see how that goes, give it a real first-hand view of the taste test. But yeah.
Cam's good at that, though. Cam's
good. He is. He enjoys eating the rapashi.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, if there's anything that people want to be added to that, please let me know and I can work it into stuff like that. Can we get a taste test? Probably not. Same with anybody has any topics you want us to talk about, please fire away, email, comments, whatever, we'll write them all down. Same with if there's any guests that anyone wants us to try and get hold of and try and bring on, we'll try our hardest. Speaking of guests, I have tried again to get our biggest live fish importer on our live stream. We have been turned down again. We've now been turned down 4 or 5 times, so that'll be the last time that I try them. Unfortunately, they don't want to come on citing or stating they don't want to be seen as having a bias for one shop over another shop. So I understand their standpoint. I disagree with their standpoint because of what it is that we're actually trying to do and what we talk about here on our Finatics Friday coffee dates. But it is what it is. They've said no, so we'll just let that one ride off into the sunset. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but tried as hard as I could. No point in continue to try and play a broken record. So yeah, unfortunately. So I'm sorry about that. What's that, sorry?
Yeah, it's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely is. So that's too provocative to say no, and for whatever reason they want. So it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so please suggest anybody you want, but maybe not a New Zealand importer because it's not happening. So, in saying that, I did ask Matt from Eastern Marine if he would like to come on. I know it's saltwater, not freshwater, but he also imports, so that might be a slight different avenue there. So I might.
What about Remy? No, he's been on, hasn't he?
Yeah, but they also don't do
fish.
fish.
I missed that one.
Yeah, it was specifically for fish, and because the process for importing fish with the quarantine and all that kind of stuff is a little bit different.
Right
so, yeah, people wanted to get an idea of the process and how it worked, and what fish are allowed and what are not, and what people look for, and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we were wanting to talk about, but it is what it is. And Cameron said, ask highways. I might ask highway fisheries again in a year or so when they're a bit more established, might be the right words. I'm not quite sure. Because they've recently changed hands, so the new owner's taken over. So might ask them in, like I said, a year or so once they've been doing it for a little bit longer and have the head around all their systems and all that kind of stuff a bit more before.
It'd be quite good if we could get somebody from the Trade Association to come on, from the New Zealand Trade Association.
Funny story that. After we spoke to Paul, I looked at it and tried to find it, and I couldn't actually find it.
Ooh.
So that's the Pet Association.
Yeah.
So despite there being on one of my invoices that there is a New Zealand Pet Association, I couldn't actually find it.
Weird.
So I've looked for it because I thought, I might be interested in joining this association. I'm sure many years ago I found it, but I can't seem to find it now. So we'll see. We'll see how we go. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it. So yeah, but yeah, again, anything like that, happy to talk to people, whether it's trade related, whether it's whether it's trade related, whether it's retail related, whether it's yeah. Oh, how about some from MPI to explain allowable list? That is a fantastic option. MPI. Cool. That one might take a bit of working, but...
What's MPI?
So they are the people that say yes or no to the fish that are allowed to come in. Primary industries, I believe they are. So we don't import. I'm just telling you from what I know from secondhand experience, from chit-chat sort of stuff. Fish come in from Singapore, come into our import facilities for 6 weeks, I think it is, 6-8 weeks, something along those lines. MPI have a vet inspector that comes through and make sure, you've ordered 500 neon tetras. These are neon tetras, there's 500, tick it off. There's no health issues. I think they have to inspect them every 2 weeks from memory. Make sure there's no diseases going through them, no issues like that, and there's a certain amount of fish that can die per import before they either have to be tested for disease or the whole tank has to be culled and wiped out. So MPI are the ones that control what comes in, what doesn't come in, what's not on the list, what is on the list, and all of that kind of stuff. So That's why that would be a really fantastic option to try and get as opposed to an importer. That's a wicked idea. I don't know where I'd start with that, but that's going to be, that's fantastic. Try and get amongst that one. Thank you. Definitely work with that. Cool. Look at that. One comment, I'm filled with joy again.
Mm.
Cool. So that's my list of things to do. That is a fantastic option. Yeah, cool. So I've got nothing else on my list to talk about, so we can just sit here and chit-chat.
Yeah. Talk more about aquarium awards.
Yeah, we can do that.
Have you voted?
Yeah. Yeah, I found the New Zealand Pet Food Manufacturers
I just googled that as well, Zen.
Yeah, I found the New Zealand Pet Food Manufacturers Association, but the Pet Industry Association of New Zealand, I couldn't find any information on that one. Like, I know that's what I was looking for on the bottom of my invoices, but I couldn't find it anywhere, if that makes sense. Yeah. Hello, Craig's Catfish. Ask them why it's so hard to bring in different, very closely related species to ones that are not allowed. I know it's ridiculous, isn't it?
What about getting one of the fish exporters, Cam? One of the guys from Peru.
Yep. Do you have any contacts?
I do, yeah.
Cool. I'll write it on my list and I'll put your name beside it.
Mm-hmm.
As I've said before, I'm happy to talk to absolutely anybody when it's related to what we're doing, and it's all about sharing information and learning and enjoying and the journey with everybody. So the more information, the more people will talk to and all sorts of facets of the industry. Then,
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, there's somebody in Peru and Venezuela, I think, and maybe Brazil. They actually export fish to European and international markets. So
cool. I'll leave that with you to follow up then.
Yeah,
I think we're pretty close to full for the year. I think we might have a slot left in November, but that's okay.
I think it could take some time to get one of these guys nailed down because they're
I'd say so, yeah.
quite rural.
Yeah. And when will Cam from Auckland be visiting? The two of you doing a fish day would be fun. Yeah. Apparently he was coming down to the South Island last month, but he never turned up. So you can call out Cam for that. I'm not sure why he didn't come to the South Island, but apparently he was meant to be. Another comment up here I wanted to read and highlight as well. I saw they did that, but I didn't manage to see it. I jumped on breakfast to try and the after whatever it's called on demand, but I couldn't get it to work. It was like every 3 minutes was ads, and I just could not be bothered with that kind of stuff. So yeah. You just didn't want to see me. Well, that's fine. I don't really want to see me sometimes as well, so I understand.
And we're going to have some fish wars here.
Speaking of fish wars, that's coming up soon too.
Aha.
Yeah.
Nice.
So for those that don't know, every year we do a fish wars, which is basically a voting competition of, do you like this fish more than this fish? I believe this is year number 5. And if I'm good enough with my handy-dandy notebook, I can go through and I can tell you the previous year's winners because I worked it all out the other day.
Clever, you.
Yeah, we're 5 years in. So this will be year 5. So yeah, 2019 we had the Panda Corridoras win. 2020 we had the Sturbies Corridora. 2021 was the Beta Splendus. And last year was the Humble Discus that won our competition. So every year we do this fish or that fish, which one do you prefer type of thing. We'll vote and comes along kind of like a playoff finals type championship type scenario. Yeah. So we run it on Facebook. It's a simple I love it or I like it type of thing.
You say it's simple.
Right?
You say simple, but it absolutely wrecks me in the week leading up to it.
I forgot to talk to you. I was thinking maybe we could expand it from like 16 fish to a bigger number.
22. Possibly.
Yeah. So
I better start now then.
We give away daily prizes for people who pick the correct fish for the day. We give away a grand prize for anyone who gets involved and picks the correct fish that wins the whole competition. So that's really fun. I haven't spoken to John yet, but I think precursor into this event, we're going to get him to write a blog on of the 4 winners. So maybe the 4 or 5 days leading up, we'll have a blog of each fish. He's all learning this right now as I'm talking, so he's not looking too excited about that. So
no, that's fine. So you're talking about previous winners?
Yeah.
Right,
So
no worries.
I haven't discussed this with you. I was going to discuss it. We just haven't had a chance yet. So yeah, that'll be fun time.
That's easy enough.
Yeah. So that's coming up. I think we roll that in November from memory.
Yeah, that just takes over into Black Friday.
Yeah, which I don't think we're doing anything for this year. We'll see.
Might not bother. Might just leave it.
My favourite nanofish species, I like Otocinclus. I like Embotetras. I like Chili Rasporas, Mosquito Rasporas. I think they're kind of stunning.
Do you guys get peacock gudgeons?
No, we don't.
Yeah, they're immense little fish.
Yeah. What else? There's another one. Glow light Danios, I think, are phenomenal fish and so underrated. It's not funny. There's a green Raspora that we don't get, which I wish we did. I think they're stunning. So, yeah. And Cameron would like to know was or why. It's the Warriors. There is no was, there is no why. It is just purely the Warriors. But I'm all about the up the was. I'm all about that marketing. I'm all about that campaign. But for me, it's always going to be the Warriors, not the was or the why. So I hope that helps. The $300 prize, I'm not telling anybody at the moment because I don't want it to affect any of the votes. So we'll be at $300 worth of fishy stuff. Yeah, just generic fishy stuff. I've got a fair idea of what I'm going to be putting in there, but I'm not telling anybody what it is. So it should be a bit more universal for everybody as opposed to really specialist for African cichlid keeper, for example. But yeah, it should be pretty helpful for everybody. I'll get back to what Taryn said in a minute. We'll just quickly run through some of these. As in the Warriors or my Jaguar, it's always going to be the Warriors, buddy. I love the Warriors more than, I won't say more than my children, but I do love the Warriors significantly. Ride or die with them, baby. Bring on the grand final. So yeah. How is the Jag going? Really well. I put a light over the tank. First time I had a light on the tank for a long time. And my wife commented last night how he looks like he's even got more colour from when he first turned up a couple of days ago. I said it's only going to get more intense as it gets bigger. So that's, really good. He's beginning to get that nice shiny look to him and bright intensity. So it's going well. Looks like he's even grown a little bit in the last few days as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. And the Jag's name has been named Wah, as in Jaguar. Yeah. So, but also up the Wahs. So, yeah. Just for the record, every time I say up the Wahs, so does my son, which is always fun. Right. Back to Taryn. The best and worst part of owning a fish store. Best part is definitely connections with people. We've got 13 people sitting here talking to us about aquariums. I think that community type building stuff is fantastic and I absolutely love it. Have the opportunity to talk to people about fish every day, each and every day, as long as I want. People message me and we talk about fish. That's easily one of the best things about it, sharing my love of and passion of aquariums and tropical fish with other people and with the same people that have the very similar passion and love. I think that's absolutely fantastic. It's right up there. Couple of the downsides is got to flutter between hobbyist and business owner, and sometimes you have to make some decisions that are either good for what you're wanting to achieve but not good for the business, or good for the business but not sort of aligning as much with what you want to achieve. As a prime example, there's a line of products, food products that I think are just junk, but they sell far too good to be able to cut them cut them off. So I like to look at that as anybody in store at least gives me an opportunity to talk about the benefits of other food products and try and get them to put that one down and get a new one. So they would probably be the two that I'm thinking of. And obviously there's a lot of stress with running it. If you think running half a dozen aquariums and putting new fish in and potential sick fish and all that kind of stuff has its moments. Multiply that number to 120 or so aquariums, and I don't know how many hundreds of fish that are currently in the shop and that sort of thing. So, there'd be the ups and downs. I absolutely wouldn't change it for the world. Love what I do. Love speaking to people. Love talking about fish. So, that'd be my ups and downs of running a fish store.
Just living the dream, basically.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
How do I think the Black Caps will do this year? I think we'll do what we always do at any major tournament. We will make everybody think we're doing really average, then we'll make the final and probably bomb out because that's what we do. I'd love to say we'll win, but I'm not sure about that. But I will always support my Black Caps, and anyone ever talks down to them, I will let you know that you're wrong because they're going to do amazing this year. So, yeah. My wife always says it's the coolest thing when you go to a fish shop and end up talking to another hobbyist for ages. But yeah, that's one of the coolest things that I've witnessed multiple times in the shop is when two people that just do not know each other at all, but they've just got one interest in aquariums. They come in and then, one will be overheard the other one talking about a particular fish, and then they'll start talking, and there's just this shared mutual interest of aquariums, and they can just talk. Okay, you guys are talking. I'm just going to keep doing what I got to do, and when you're done, we can come back and we can do what we've got to do. So, that's one of the coolest things that I've witnessed multiple times. That I know that many people that run fish shops or work in pet shops or whatever would have witnessed that plenty of times before. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times myself. It's certain fish shops seem to encourage that a lot more than others. I've noticed as well.
Yeah. I love what Cam does on his shop. He's got a beanbag and a couple of seats and stuff like that. So, and a few magazines, sit down, enjoy it, take it all in, read some books, talk about fish, and all that kind of stuff.
I had a friend a few years ago who set up a new fish shop, and I helped him kind of build all the furniture for like a full reception area. And he had couches and a coffee machine and all sorts of stuff, a sweetie jar for kids. And it was like a full lounge he had. It was brilliant.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'd
love to have that exact tank sitting in there, but he had Geo's redheads, a colony of them in that exact tank. So cool. Yeah,
I'd love to have the room or the layout to put something like that in. Just the way the shop's designed, it's just not possible. I thought about moving away the bagging station and putting a small couch into the fish room itself so people can sit and watch, and that still might happen if I can work out a better place to put in the bagging area. But I think that's pretty cool. But there's no room in the shop for that, and just a really small amount of room in there. So
what you should do? Can you remember old stadiums before seats were mandatory, and you had the bars you'd stand against?
Oh yeah,
a British thing?
It might be a British thing, but I've got an idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, they just had like metal bars, and you just all lean against it. Just put them in front of your tanks. People would just stand and watch it.
So leaning bars, lean-tos.
Yeah, I can't remember what they're called though, but they were lethal. But yeah.
Do I have a cat or a dog that hangs in the shop? No, I do not have a cat dog. There's a main highway right behind my window, which is probably the reason why we don't have any cats hanging around. And it's also industrial on the other side. The butcher that way, it's got a huge dog. I think it's a Great Dane, massive long legs and a big weird looking face. But it just sort of hangs around by his back door more than loitering around. And saying that, when I had the outdoor tubs going last summer, I was wondering why there was always water on the ground and the water level was dropping so fast. It turns out the dog was coming for a drink every day. So drinking out of my ponds and drinking my fish. So yeah, cool. Okay, so we've been rocking for an hour now. If everybody is happy with that, we can we can leave it be, or if you want to keep talking smack about fish, we can do that as well. Smack the right word? I don't think it is. I'm not up with the cool kid lingo anymore.
We'll just sit here and talk fish for a while.
Talk fish. The word itself, fish. There's a magazine that's been released with the title Fish, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Have I got one? I have one somewhere.
Is it a magazine or a book?
It's actually Practical Fish Keeping magazine. The editor is called Nathan Hill.
Yeah.
And he produced Fish himself as a side hustle, basically.
Cool.
I've got a signed copy of the first edition.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I've also got the second one, but it's in my storage unit beside my other books and things.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I'd love to carry more books and magazines and stuff like that, but I think by the time they get here, magazines in particular might not be all that relevant. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it's always relevant.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Though, like
information on fish.
3 months late. We've had 2 questions from the floor just for you, John the Superstar.
Ooh.
He's run away. He's looking for a book now.
There we go.
Cool.
I'm not lying, honest. Right, okay, what's the questions then?
2 of them, just for you.
Well, for me, it is 11 o'clock at night. So if you look at the iPhone, I don't know if you can see that, but it's 11 o'clock at night.
On Thursday?
On a Thursday, yeah. So I'm a little bit behind you guys. I'm based in Scotland, which is the north part of the UK. We're just coming out of summer and going into autumn, so it's still shorts weather. And we're having a current extra bit of sunshine before the end of the summer.
Winter coming into spring and it's shorts weather
Dad
as well.
trainers, you've got your dad trainers on. Well done.
Brand new as well.
Yeah, we had 23 degrees today as well, which was really nice. So working on the last bit of the tan before the sun goes away forever. And then it's back to snow and rain. And I will be going to bed soon, but Cam keeps me up. Yeah.
Reckon that whip making magic happen.
When I get most creative, is when I'm sat on my laptop in my bed.
So how long have you been with us for now? 3 years?
Yeah, I was going to say when we were talking about Fish Wars, this will be the 3rd Fish Wars that I've been working on.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3 years.
Cool. Good times.
It's over 3 years, I think, because
it would be.
What was it, July, August time I started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably would be.
Yeah. No, I love staying up late on a Thursday night for our coffee mornings.
Coffee morning.
It's just for the record, I'm not actually drinking coffee. This has got diluting juice. Do you know what that is?
Got what, sorry?
Well, we call it diluting juice. It's a Scottish thing. It's squash, basically. It's, the concentrated juice and you pour water in. And,
yeah.
Yeah, we call it diluting juice.
I always wondered if you're drinking coffee or not, if you just got a coffee.
No. It's
just juice.
Just juice.
Yeah.
Couldn't drink coffee this late. That'd kill me.
Yeah, I couldn't either, but I know plenty of people that can, so yeah.
Yeah. No, cool. Honestly, it's a pleasure. I love being part of it. No, Rochelle, it's not whiskey. It's only Thursday. I've got work tomorrow as well, so
wouldn't be whiskey. It'd be Scotch, just for the sake of the argument.
Yeah, because it's in Scotland and it's Scotch.
Yeah.
I could have a coffee with a bit of whiskey in it.
A hot toddy.
That's quite good. A hot toddy, as they're called here in Scotland. But yeah, I don't think I've got anything else remotely Scottish lying about. But no, I've got. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Cam said his dad has coffee right before bed. So does my mum, who have a cup of coffee before bed as well. Then she complains that she can't sleep throughout the night and wakes up 12,000 times. So well done.
Yeah.
I'm about done about 4 o'clock in the afternoon is about me for coffee.
Yeah. To be honest, I stopped drinking coffee about 12 o'clock.
Yeah. Do you eat haggis?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I eat haggis. I like it fried or boiled, or it's good. We actually have, a bacon roll. Like we put haggis on that as well. Fried
Yeah.
haggis.
I'd give it a go. I like to
Yeah.
try everything at least a couple times before I hate
Or
it.
black pudding. Do you get black? You get black pudding, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's white pudding?
It's more oats and just grain and things, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, I don't like it. It's not very great.
Yeah.
You guys get iron brew over there.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you
Yeah.
think of that?
I've only had it a couple times. It's okay. It's not my favorite. It's not the worst. It's I wouldn't say I don't think it's an acquired taste. It's just you've got to be kind of feeling like it, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. It's good if you've got a hangover.
Hmm.
Because of the sugar and the E numbers that's in it. It really lifts you up for a bad hangover.
So I was watching a video interview with Freddie Flintoff, the England cricketer, and he blew the interviewer's mind because everyone calls it iron brew, but there's no O in it. It's IRU, and the interviewer's like, I've just had my whole mind changed on the whole name of this product that he's been saying wrong the entire life. So that's what stuck with me.
It was iron brew, but they just shortened it and they modernized it.
Okay.
And they make lots of other ones as well.
Yeah.
Do you get Rubicon?
That's a band. There's a band called Rubicon.
A juice.
No, Rubicon.
Yeah, that's made
like
by
Ribena, like current.
Yeah. What else did they do? They do a lot of different flavors, like really weird flavors. Limeade and cream soda and funny stuff like that.
Welcome to New Zealand, where we have 3 things of everything, and that's nothing else.
Haha.
Yeah. So, or about 1,000 different types of aioli.
Oh yeah, I love that stuff.
God help me, you look for a ranch dressing, but can't find it. But we'll have 55 different sorts of aioli.
Yeah, aioli's big when my parents stay in Spain. All the tapas restaurants make their own aioli.
Yeah, yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah. How did this all of a sudden turn into a food chat?
Haggis. You brought haggis.
Oh, right. Pineapple lumps or chocolate fish? Do you get either of them over there?
What are they, sweets or?
Yeah, chocolates, lollies. Chocolate fish is like a pink marshmallow in the shape of a fish with chocolate on it, and a pineapple lump is like a yellow pineapple thing.
Oh yeah, we do get them. Do they come in like a white bag with like gourmet sweets? They get called gourmet sweets or something, maybe.
Not over here. They're like everyday run-of-the-mill sweets.
Right. Yeah, we do get the pineapple things. We get you get the strawberries, or you get cola bottles which are covered in sugar. That kind of sweet.
I'll send you a couple packets. Remind me next week.
Yeah, cool. I'll get some stuff and send them your way as well. Yeah. We'll do that thing.
Do that thing where we try each other's things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do we have so many types of crap barbecue sauce? I don't know, mate. We just have a lot of junk barbecue sauces in the supermarket. If you want a decent barbecue sauce, go to barbecueboy.co.nz. Not sponsored. Or lowandslowbarbecue.co.nz. They will hook you up. Or underthehoodbarbecue.co.nz. Not sponsored by any of them. But you may or may not have now worked out that I do enjoy doing barbecues. So, yeah. Those 3 have got the good hookups for decent barbecue sauces if that's what you're looking for. So, yeah. Right. Yeah. I can see that our viewers have dropped off since we started talking about food, so maybe it's time that we drop off.
That's happened. That has
happened. Egg whites, quickly, Thomas is asking, egg whites for feeding fry. Yeah, egg yolks, I believe, is the boiled egg yolk is the better option for feeding fry. Boil it up, mush it up in a bit of water and pour it into the water. That's what a lot of people use.
Wow.
For that. So, yeah. Cool. All right. Let's do it to it. Don't forget to vote in the Aquarium Awards. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok. And if you haven't yet, follow us on the old YouTube machine. jump on the 3 Idiots Talk Aquariums podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. So, yeah, have a good one, team.
Yeah, have a good weekend, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.